What's up, guys? Dane Davis here. Shout out to Boogie Bentley, Dauber, and the Indie Kid over at Talkin VAWLS Network on YouTube. Vols fans, head over to their YouTube channel, Talkin VAWLS Network. Smash that like button and subscribe, baby. Go Big Orange.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
I'm the Indie Kid.
This is Talkin VAWLS Live. Tennessee, they get it done. They get the win, 38-6 over Bowling Green. We're going to break it down. We're going to take your questions. We're going to talk about it. We're going to stay with you guys all night long. We're going to do this thing. Indie Kid, we're going to do this thing like Lionel Richie. We're going to go all night long. Let's run down the chat. Let's see who is hanging out. We got Rowdy Yates in here hanging out. Welcome, Rowdy. David Smith is here. Adam's here. Bradley Gordon is here talking about Hendon Hooker. I can see some people being upset. You guys are arguing. You've been yelling at each other. You've been going nuts all game long. We're going to take your questions. We're going to get into all of that. Power T is here. He's a member of the channel. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. JJ Banks is here. Says this team is much worse than I expected. We will be lucky to beat Vanderbilt. Oh, my gosh. The chat is upset. They are frustrated. I get it. I thought I saw a super chat. Did I miss a super chat? There's so many people flooding in here. Guys, make sure you do go ahead and smash that thumbs up on the way in. Don't make me have to yell at you guys all day long. I won't. I'll let it go. I'll drop it. I won't talk about it. If you guys just go ahead and smash the thumbs up on the way in. Some of you are already hitting the thumbs down. That's fine. I mean, we haven't really said anything yet, but it is what it is. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Opening comments. Indie Kid, the chat's pissed. Facebook is pissed. Twitter's pissed. Everybody's mad. Joe Milton sucks. Josh Heupel sucks. How much should we put into this opening game? Opening thoughts.
Saw a nice comment here that I glad we want to have some positives, but definitely have some areas of improvement, to say the least. Yep, I think it's a good comment. Took care of business. Did their thing. Didn't cover. I'm not a bettor. I don't care. Good first quarter. Not a good second quarter. Positives, adjustments at halftime. Staff made adjustments. I thought the defense did some good things. I thought Bowling Green was pretty ineffective. And I'm going to get into how much they made me want to pull my hair out watching Bowling Green's offense. I would rather watch paint dry than watch Bowling Green's slow offense. But not a bad night. I mean, yeah, there's some things they could work on. There's some things they could do better. But, it is what it is. I'm going to focus on the positives. I thought the run game was good. I thought the offensive line did their job. I thought the defense improved as the game went along after the second quarter was tough. And Milton I think it was big that he hit a touchdown late in the game. Even though I would like to see another quarterback in at that point, I still think that could be a confidence booster. Wasn't a perfect night, but Tennessee won. They won handily. We'll see how it goes next. So good thing is there is 9 days until the next game. That is plenty of time to work on things and get ready for Pitt.
Let me hit this super chat real quick from John Hill for $5. Thank you, John, for the super chat. We appreciate it. It says Evans has to start the next game. He was a stud. Evans did look good, but I thought Jabari Small looked good as well. Something that a lot of people, watching the game unfold, I thought Small came in at the beginning. I thought he looked good, ran strong, kind of what we expected. And then Tyon Evans came in, and the running game kind of stalled a little bit. But also at the same time, that was when Cooper Mays went down. And I don't know if it's coincidence but when Cooper Mays came back in, the running game picked right back up. And I don't know if that's coincidence, if that's timing, or if that shows the lack of depth on that offensive line. But I think we've got two really good running backs in Evans and Small, and it doesn't matter who starts. They're a good 1-2 punch. Exactly as expected. Dauber, what are your opening thoughts on the game?
First of all, end result. We got the W. First and foremost, we only got 3 of those last year. So, granted, all conference schedule last year and lots of other stuff going on. But you're talking about a team that was decimated by the transfer portal, players leaving, a team that won 3 games last year, a brand new system. Reality is you can expect some of those things. I look forward going to next week, cleaning some of that stuff up. As Indy Kid said, 9 days between now and when we play Pitt. You got to eliminate those turnovers. Some of the penalties we had that were just horrible times to have pre-snap infractions or a couple of holding calls that were really drive killers. Jalen Hyatt, he had a good game numbers wise, but he had a couple big drops, and that's something. How much have Milton and Hyatt actually worked? They'll grow into it. They'll get timing down. They'll get. Hopefully, Milton can work on his touch a little. That's something that I saw. Everything seemed to come out like a rocket. A couple of those balls deep, a little bit more air under it. Different story. That's probably 2 touchdowns that got away from us there because he didn't have enough touch. Defensively, throughout Theo Jackson, he was all over the field tonight, flying around, making plays on the ball. Elijah Simmons early on was making a big impact on the line. Lot to build on, but a lot to work on.
Talking about the defense, it goes back to what Indy Kid said. I like that they made adjustments, right? A lot of people were upset in that second quarter, and I mean, rightfully so, because Tennessee ran 7 offensive plays in that second quarter. And when you look at the numbers, talking about Jalen Hyatt, they ran 7 plays in the second quarter. 2 of those plays were drops one by a wide receiver, 1 by a tight end, and 1 was a Hail Mary. So that's 3 plays flushed down the toilet. Tennessee ran 4 offensive plays in the second quarter. They could not, and credit to Bowling Green for making an adjustment, right? Opening the game, I felt like Tennessee got some good pressure up the middle, and then Bowling Green started rolling out the pocket. They started running a lot of quick outs, getting the ball out of their hand quick, and kudos to them for that. Tennessee goes in the locker room at halftime. Tim Banks makes the adjustments. Going back to what the Indy Kid said, they get up in the face of the wide receivers and start playing press coverage. How long has it been since we've seen a team come into the locker room, make adjustments, come back out, and they shut Bowling Green down from then on? And yes, I know it's Bowling Green. They're not a good football team, but it's nice to see Tennessee make those adjustments at the half. Let me get caught up on these super chats. Where'd it go? You guys are awesome. We got a lot of people flooding in. We appreciate you guys hanging out on this late edition of Talkin VAWLS Live. Landon Morrell for 5. Thank you for the super chat, Landon. Says, do y'all think it was a case of the running backs being good or just Bowling Green's defense being that bad? Bowling Green's defense is horrible. They were the worst rushing defense in the country last season. So, yes, that's obviously a factor. Indy Kid, do you think – I think this running back room is good. Offensive line, I'm not sure. So when you look at it and say, is it Tennessee's offense being good or Bowling Green's defense being bad? I think we have some good running backs, but obviously Bowling Green's defense played a factor in that as well.
Yeah, I think it's both. But we've said it the whole time, and not that we won't miss Eric Gray along the way. I think that's one position where we're okay. And if you watch Jamari Spontao and Evans and didn't get excited, I don't know what to tell you, man. They both look good. I thought Evans looked a little better than Small, but it's not going to matter who starts each week. They're both going to get carries. That was a positive. And even I know we'll break down Joe Milton. Joe Milton ran the ball pretty good. My one complaint with him is he's 6'5", 240. Put your head down and bulldoze somebody. You don't need to be dancing around it. But the running game's going to be fine.
Milton seemed a little timid to me. I felt like he had good pocket presence. He did hold the ball a little long at times. but I felt like he moved, he escaped pressure, made plays. I felt like he ran a little bit more aggressive in designed runs versus when he escaped the pocket, he was a little timid. And some of that makes me, wonder if that goes back to last year and the injury. Is he afraid of getting hurt? Let me get through some of these super chats. Dustin Sellers for 5. Thank you, Dustin, for the super chat. Says biggest improvement happens from week 1 to week 2. The long pass didn't happen, but the opportunity was there. I like the overall adjustments at the half. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. That's what everybody says. Biggest improvement goes from week 1 to week 2. And Dauber hit it. The deep ball was there. Joe Milton needs to put a little bit more air under that deep ball. Now, some people want to blame Joe Milton for Jalen Hyatt dropping the ball across the middle. No. Catch the ball. That's on Jalen Hyatt. The overthrows, Tillman was open a couple of times. The overthrows, that's on Milton. Milton's got to put some air under the ball, give his wide receivers a chance. But if you get hit in the hands, you got to make the catch. Cody Branch for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Defense looked amazing. They wanted it more. Let's see. What do we got here? Mark Wilson for 5. Thank you, Mark. He says this game is more on receivers dropping the ball and play calling. We need to do better. Dauber, were you upset with play calling?
I actually like the play calling. I mean, I think it was very balanced. We threw the ball 23 times, and at good times. The run game was working, but we didn't allow them to really kind of crowd the box. We kept them at least a little bit honest. But again, it's Bowling Green. I think the passing game has to be better. It has to improve week to week. We've got to get better before Pitt.
Well, to follow that up, what you just said, Steve Truitt for 5. Thank you, Steve. Says people cannot be too critical this first game. Totally revamped program. They will get the bugs worked out. Give them a chance to play devil's advocate to that Indy kid. Like Dauber just said, it is Bowling Green. So I think that is some cause for concern. Breaking down that game, Bowling Green's terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the country. Tennessee wins 38-6. Are you satisfied with that? Or are you now – I feel like I'm going into the Pitt game as if this game never happened. Still wondering, can Joe Milton be consistent? Can Joe Milton make the big throws? The defense. I saw some things I liked. I saw some things that concerned me.
Yes and no on tonight. Yes, it was Bowling Green. Tennessee won 38-6. Tennessee did not – I don't think by any means play anywhere close to their best game. And they still won comfortably 38-6. And, yeah, it's against a Bowling Green team that's not very good. But, Tennessee teams of the past played teams like this and beat them by 10 to 14 points. They still won handily. There were things I liked. Obviously, there's things that need to be worked on. I'm not skies falling. Yeah, I griped and moaned a little bit during the game at things, but it's things that can be fixable along the way. Yeah, we can say Milton's the worst quarterback that's ever played down here, whatever. Obviously, I'm taking that to the extreme, but he learned if he gets some touch on his balls, he's good. And again, he put some nice balls across the middle, and the guys drop it. It was just a perfect storm kind of night after the first quarter. The second quarter was the worst it was all night. So we can look at it from the second quarter, and I look at that. That was the worst part of the night. Okay, if they didn't build on the second quarter, we got a lot to be concerned about. And there's still concerns going into Pitt next week, but I don't know. Like people in the chat have said, there's a lot of new players. It's a new system. It's new coaching staff. If you didn't think there was going to be some growing pains tonight, you're just being unrealistic.
Let me get caught up on Super Chat. Guys, I'm sorry. There are so many people in the chat that some of the Super Chats are starting to fall off, so I have to get them pulled up here on YouTube. I do want to make sure I read all your comments on air. Let me say this. We do have 571 people watching live. Make sure you guys do us a favor. If you enjoy the content, hit that thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds. You just got to be signed into Google. hit that thumbs up. It helps the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Glad you guys are hanging out with us on this late night edition of Talkin VAWLS. Let me get these super chats pulled up again. I'm sorry that StreamYard is kind of fading them out. I got to go into YouTube and read them. Power T for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, how long can you stand in that pocket? Well, I don't know if that's a complaint. I mean, I feel like Joe Milton was trying to go through his progression, and you know that kind of brings up a question for me. Is when you're watching a game on TV, you can't really see everything that's taking place, right? You can't see, are the wide receivers, are they getting open? And I kind of question that. I know Milton missed some receivers. Obviously, they showed some replays. He missed some guys. He made some overthrows. But were wide receivers getting open? That's the question. You can't see that on TV. But there were several times that Joe Milton sat back in that pocket forever and didn't unleash the ball.
Well, and that's first of all, from that, that's a testament to the offensive line, giving him that time and that clean of a pocket to stand there. But yes, there were times that he did miss some reads. He did miss some guys running wide open. And that's something I truly think that Heupel and the rest of the staff will work with him, go back and watch the tape, watch the film, and see, okay, in this set, this is where you need to be looking. Here's the free space in the field. Here's where your receivers are running. You need to move your eyes here. And the other thing is he needs to have that clock in his head. Okay, I've hit my third read. Nothing's there. Use your legs. Use your big body. Get what you can get.
Jacob Pollen for 5 says, convinced Milton is the guy after his first performance? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Joe Milton is your starting quarterback. The people complaining and begging for Harrison Bailey's the third string quarterback. He ain't getting on the field, guys. It's time to get over it and move on. If you don't like Joe Milton, fine. If you want to criticize Joe Milton, fine. Harrison Bailey is the third string quarterback. We're talking about Jim Bob Cooter sitting on the bench over there. He ain't getting in the game. So it's Joe Milton or Hendon Hooker, and Joe Milton is your guy. Joe Milton is the quarterback, whether you like it or not. And something that I like is he's got a longer leash. He's got the opportunity to go out there and compete. Kevin Bear for 5. Thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. Says, I agree, Boogie, the running backs are great. Why didn't Milton ever dump it to them? Well, I can't answer that question. I don't know what the game plan was. I think they showed some things, but I also don't think you saw the full scheme of Josh Heupel's offense. Kenneth Gordon for 5, drops a 5 and walks out. Thank you for the super chat, Kenneth. We appreciate it. JJ's reviews for 5. Need to put some of these fans on the field. They think they can do better. LOL. JJ's reviews. Yeah, you're spot on. I probably should stay off of social media during the games. Hunter Newman for 5. Thank you. Hunter says, I hope this was a vanilla offense. Indy Kid, do you think it was vanilla, or what do you think we saw tonight?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that comment. I hope it was. I don't think they showed a whole lot tonight. I think you guys have said it. Milton missed some throws along the way. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think after tonight. Honestly, I don't think it was the offense unleashed, but I think there were a lot of missed opportunities too.
I did like what I saw, though. I did like the tempo that they played with at times. I did like the receivers getting up, running the ball to the umpire, handing it to him. The offensive line was already lined up. That's something you can build on that. And that's something that they've worked hard on since last spring through the fall. And I was glad to see that. 28 plays in the first quarter. Of course, we've talked about the 8 plays in the second quarter. A lot of that had to do with Bowling Green having a couple of drives and eating that clock. I think they were snapping the ball with 5 seconds left on the play clock, their possessions that they had. And then credit the defense for really kind of buckling down after those drives and after Bowling Green got those field goals and not really allowing much more after that.
Let me get caught up on super chats, then I want to come back and talk a little bit about the defense. Let's see. Where we at? Landon Morrell for 5. Thank you, Landon, for the super chat. Says Joe Milton played winning football. Just has to find the open man. Missed too many opportunities over the middle. I agree with that. I don't think anybody is sitting here pretending that Joe Milton was a world beater tonight. Joe Milton has to be better. If this team is going to be better than 4 or 5 wins, Joe Milton has to be better. I got to hit this super chat. Got to get it on the screen. $100 super chat. Thank you, Donovan. Yeah, thanks. I don't know what else to say. Donovan, Mr. Moneybags, always throwing money at us. We appreciate it. Says some fans quit kissing Bailey's ass. Milton is our best option. Defensive line played well. We ran 87 plays. We will be fine. Boogie, Indy Kid, and Dauber, keep up the good work. Hey, fans, Bailey, not even the backup. Y'all ridiculous. Milton greater than Bailey. Indy Kid, I see your face. What do you want to say to that?
Not much, really. It's what it is. I mean, I think people think we're sitting here praising the performance. Not they took care of business. I mean, sometimes that's what you have to do. I mean, I don't think anybody's coming out tonight just fired up for a national championship or anything. But Rome wasn't built in a day either. And it's a whole lot different when you see an opposing team opposed to your own defense who knows the plays that are coming at you each day. It's a totally different animal. I see it every day, even though it's at a totally different level, but still, you have this to go off of. You can, if you don't think you're going to be watching a lot of film on what happened tonight, then you don't know what you're talking about. They are going to watch a lot of film. There's going to be stuff to work on. I mean, I don't know. I can't sit here and say I'm very confident in Milton going forward, but the beauty of it is he's got 9 days to improve. They're going to watch film. They're going to practice. They're going to work on it. His decision-making has to be quicker. He's got – I've thought at times he locked on to a specific place, but there's the potential there. Again, I think it was big. He threw a touchdown at the end. I know Tillman made a good catch to bail him out on it, but still yet, regardless, that could be a confidence booster for him. The last thing that Joe Milton did tonight was throw a touchdown pass. That could be really big for his confidence moving to the next game.
Austin Tate walks up, drops a $5 bill on the table. Thank you, Austin, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Let me get caught up here. There's several here. Vol Time Tennessee for 5. Thank you for the super chat. It says Milton will get better. He is the quarterback. Go Big Orange. I think some people are just still in denial. They don't want to let it go that Milton won the job. It's it. It's over. It's done. Katana Pones all for 5. Thank you for the super chat. It says I can't believe folks are already dismissing Milton as being worse than JG. People need to give him time. Well, my friend, they have been dismissing him since he arrived in Knoxville. It's just the reality of the situation. Let me see. It's driving me nuts. It's taking all the super chats off of the screen.
That if Milton were worse than JG, he would have thrown at least a pick 6. Who knows what else tonight?
Austin Tate for 5 says, I had Tennessee at 35, so 100% happy. Held them to no touchdowns, more than I expected. Go Big Orange. Yeah, some people are saying this is your only opportunity to get a shutout all year. Held them to 6, no touchdowns. That's a win for the defense. But more importantly, the adjustments at halftime for that defense. Drew for 5. Thank you, Drew. Says 10 days to get ready for Pitt. Biggest jump from week 1 to week 2. Are we caught up? Are we almost caught up? Nope. Hold on. It's driving me nuts. Bear with me, guys. Sorry, there's so many of you guys in the chat. We're glad that you're here. That's the best you've looked all night, Andy Kid. JJ's reviews for 5 says if Milton had went to Peyton's QB camp like Harrison Bailey, they would love him. Maybe. I don't know if they would or not. I missed Pecan. I see Pecan there. Let me get caught up. Sorry, guys, bear with me. There's so many in. It's feeding the chat off. I want to make sure I hit every single super chat. Pecan for 10. Thank you for the super chat, Pecan. Hadn't seen you in a while, buddy. Glad you're back here in the chat with us. He says, wasn't impressed today, and I question if Milton is the guy for quarterback. He's not a freshman. I expect more. He should be seasoned. He doesn't need time. He is not a freshman. A lot of hate for Joe Milton tonight, it seems. Wayne Starnes drops a $50 super sticker. Thank you, Wayne. We appreciate that greatly. Dauber, what do you think? What do you think on Milton? Like I said, I clearly he has to get better.
I'm going to say this, and I'll just leave it at that. This coaching staff watches all three of these quarterbacks every day at practice. This coaching staff is getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to make the decisions that they make. I'm going to go behind those guys and stick with their knowledge of the game and what they're deciding. And I'll throw out Harrison Bailey didn't beat out number 2 last year to be the starter until we hit the skids.
Well, it seems to be an ongoing theme with our fan base. The two sexiest guys on the team are, well, the backup quarterback, and then the guy they love to hate is the offensive coordinator, right? They always blame the offensive coordinator, and they always love the backup quarterback. And
the offensive coordinator is the head coach, basically. That's the guy calling the plays.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a whole lot of criticism for that up until now. But look, nobody. It's like we said earlier. Nobody's sitting here pretending that Joe Milton went out and lit up the world tonight. But he is. Everybody hates this statement because of the last 3 years of Tennessee football. But he gives this team the best chance to win. He is the best quarterback on the roster.
Well, let me put this out here. I've seen a lot of comments. He held on to the ball too long. What did Harrison Bailey do last year?
Yeah,
that's what's holding him back. Yeah.
Other than dump it off, he held on to the ball too long. So
yeah, if you watched Harrison Bailey last year and thought he was a world beater, then
it's pros and cons.
Yeah, you're biased. You have a strong bias if you watched Harrison Bailey and thought, yep, this guy's the next guy to do it all down here.
The Sammy P, is that his name? The Sammy P for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Some of these names, man. Milton needs time to calm down. Milton needs time. Calm down, y'all. Hopefully they can nip the holding calls in the bud. Cost 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Carvin had a couple back-to-back holding calls there late that cost him in the red zone. Will C for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Says Georgia fan here. Not sure what to think. If I'm being honest, what do you think would have happened if Georgia played Tennessee tonight? They would have throttled them. Yeah. Wouldn't matter if they played them tonight or 3 months from now. Georgia's going to throttle Tennessee. Like, we're concerned with Bowling Green and South Carolina right now. We're not real worried about Georgia. We know where we're at, my friend. Hunter Newman for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I like Milton. I love to see the defense make adjustments at the half. It's such a breath of fresh air. Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest takeaways from the game.
Yeah, let's talk about the defense a little bit. I'm tired of seeing about Peyton Bailey. I mean, Harrison Manning. I mean, Harrison Bailey, who didn't even strike the field tonight. And we all like Harrison Bailey. If he was the guy, we'd be behind him 100%. He's not. Okay. Defense. I liked the second quarter was rough, but we talked about adjustments. Bowling Green, I saw a couple slants. I was like, here we go again.
Yep.
And then they started hitting that little outside. They started hitting the running back, and they were using that tight end a lot. Tennessee adjusted to that. I like that. We can say what we want to about Bowling Green. That Bowling Green, I can't imagine being a player defending. That was Bowling Green offense was the most annoying offense to watch. They were so slow. It was like snails out there. They waited. They used their clock. They'd call timeouts. They adjust. It was their philosophy was to adjust to what Tennessee adjusted to. And I get it, whatever. But Tennessee adjusted to what was working for Bowling Green after the second quarter because Bowling Green had their quarter, and that was it. They really didn't do a whole lot the rest of the game. So credit to Tim Banks and that defense for making adjustments. I thought our linebackers played well. I thought our line played well. I thought the defensive backs did all right, too. I don't think you can be too upset at that defense. There was a couple bend but not break moments. But each time, they stepped up with a sack, with some stops. So, that was an aspect I didn't know about. I thought Bowling Green may be closer to 20 points tonight. So, the fact that Tennessee held them to 6, pretty cool. I was happy with that tonight.
My only, and it's not really a complaint, I wanted to see this Tennessee defense force some turnovers because that was kind of the big selling point for Tim Banks coming in. Was they're going to be aggressive. They're going to force turnovers because Josh Heupel's offense is going to go fast and they need an aggressive defense. But when you look at the numbers, it's hard to complain. Bowling Green had 32 yards on the ground, 219 total yards of offense. That's hard to complain about. Third down efficiency, 2 of 14. Bowling Green was 2 of 14 on third down, 0 for 2 on fourth down. It's hard to complain about that. Eight punts. I would have liked to seen, a turnover. But, we talked about the offense being vanilla. I think the defense was pretty vanilla. You didn't see a whole lot of blitzing or anything, anything tricky or special. It was just straight up defense. I felt like the adjustment at the half was, get up in their grill, play in their face, play physical. I like Jeremy Banks. I thought Jeremy Banks played a good football game, especially in the run game. He was very physical, very aggressive. Juwan Mitchell didn't really impress me, though.
Yeah, man, I was expecting something. Banks was the one that stood out.
Yeah.
And even Aaron Beasley, I thought, stood out more.
He was close to an interception.
Yeah.
Close to an interception.
I think
and on the play, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, the Bowling Green quarterback made a good throw, and it was a perfect placement. Banks did what he was supposed to do. The guy just made a good throw, and it was a good catch.
But Banks has made a lot of improvement from where we saw him last year.
Yeah.
He's been a high motor, high energy guy and was good in the run coverage last year. Lacked a little bit when he dropped back in pass coverage. But tonight he stepped it up. He made some improvements. Again, it's Bowling Green. We'll see next week if that's sustained and if he doesn't get lost again. I agree though as well. I expected Mitchell to be, wreaking some havoc and make some impact plays. And
I want to go back and rewatch it too. It's always these post game shows are fun because the emotions are high. Everybody's arguing and yelling. That's what makes it fun. But it's always way better to go back and rewatch the game the next day, right? When you're not texting 14 people at the same time. You're not I always chart the plays, which talk about the speed of play and the up-tempo offense. Tracking the offensive plays was difficult today. But let me get this super chat real quick. I wanted to make a plug. I got 14 things in my head talking about rewatching the game. Speaking of, you guys, the emotions are high. We're all excited. You're going to go to sleep tonight. You're going to wake up tomorrow. The Indy Kid he's going to bring the feature back. A lot of people liked it last year. It's called The Day After. And what it is you have a night to go to sleep, think about things. The Indy Kid's going to get up, do some research, and he's going to put together a short little video kind of recapping the game and having his head on his shoulders instead of, you look at him. He's so fired up and aggressive tonight. He'll be calmed down tomorrow and it'll be okay. Chandler White for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says Milton looks like a robot, flat feet, square shoulders, no touch. Then he practices better line sounds really familiar. Stop, guys, just stop. Stop comparing Jeremy Pruitt to Josh Heupel. Stop comparing Jarrett Garantano to Joe Milton. It's a lazy argument. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The flat feet thing, I did see a lot of people talking about that. You guys been watching any practice the last few weeks? Every quarterback's doing that. That's technique. That's teaching. That is the way Josh Heupel and this coaching staff is teaching their quarterbacks. It is a little weird to me. They are flat-footed, but if you watch them, even in routes on air, when they get back, they settle flat feet. Dauber, you think that's weird? You seen that before?
Not a whole lot. And like you said, it is consistent with what we've seen out of practice and the stuff that the media has been there to cover. I don't know. I have to trust this staff with the decisions they're making for quarterback.
Heisman runner-up, national championship quarterback. I'd say I'd say he knows what he's talking about. Power T for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says he was a true freshman. I don't know what that's.
Congratulations to him.
I don't know what that's in regards to. Do you guys?
Yeah, of course. The golden child.
Oh, you're talking about
HB.
Harrison.
Man, I mean, the bad thing about it, yeah. I mean, the bad thing about it is Harrison Bailey plays for Tennessee. We don't have a favorite, and that's fine if he gets in and does it. But it bothers me, man, that we got a portion of the fan base that wants Joe Milton to suck, so that they hope Harrison Bailey can get in. And who knows? In the grand scheme of things, maybe Harrison Bailey ends up better. But that bothers me, man.
End result.
We're all Tennessee fans. Let's,
we
did
won
Joe
tonight.
Milton? Hang on. Give me a second. I'm not done. Yeah, we want. Joe Milton didn't look great at all tonight. But, I think we've all probably saw tonight that he's not going to get benched. It's not imminent. They're going to give him a chance to do it. Get behind the guy, man. Yeah, we can pick him apart. We can say he sucks. We can say Harrison Bailey rules, but
it's stuff like this right here that you're talking about, us Bailey fans. I'm not a Bailey fan.
That sucks.
I'm not a Milton fan. I'm a Tennessee fan. I don't care if Dauber's playing quarterback. It's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. You guys are pulling for the Tennessee quarterback to suck and fail so your guy gets in the game. You're not a Tennessee fan. I don't know what you are. You're not a Tennessee fan. Why would you pull for the quarterback to do bad? So your guy that, and why is he your guy? Like, I can't wrap my head around it. I cannot wrap my head around some of the people in this fan base. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, I wasn't impressed with him, but does that mean he can't get better? It's one game. It's one game, guys. Quit. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I think everybody's adults. It just bothers me to see Tennessee fans crapping on a quarterback because he's not your guy. That's silly. That's never been the case before down there. I mean, my old buddy Wayne here, one game that we won. Exactly. They won 38-6. You would think that Tennessee lost 38-6 with some of the comments. I mean, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't great. But, man, there were some positives tonight. And, to hell with this negativity. Okay? You guys want to bitch and moan about the quarterback stuff? I'm done with it. It is what it is. We've touched upon it.
Let me get caught up on the super chats. Trevor for 5. Thank you, Trevor. We appreciate it. Says, we'll see. I know what Georgia's going to do. I hope you know that the Heimlich maneuver, because they for sure going to choke. That is their best attribute. Yeah, I hate Georgia. Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate that. Evan counts for
this weekend.
Yeah, go Clemson for sure. Evan counts for 10. Thank you, Evan. Says, glad to actually see some smiling faces on the Tennessee sideline. Hope that defense brings that same speed next weekend. Spraggins is huge and fast. Go Big Orange. The Edge Dude for 5. Thank you, my friend, for the super chat. My son was in the band. They sounded great. It was awesome to be in Neyland tonight with perfect weather. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Yeah, we've not even touched upon that. I mean, you guys are being very generous with your super chats. Always want to make sure that we read your comments. We appreciate all the support. But, Dauber, how nice was it just to have fans in the stands, the band, the fact that they made it a point to show them run through the tee?
Yeah.
Just
I got a couple messages from some friends that were there, and they said it was good atmosphere. It was good to have Neyland as packed as it was, and some excitement in the stadium.
I noticed when they played, they changed it up on third down, played a little Hell's Bells. That crowd got rowdy.
They said it sounds like they were rotating songs. They were playing different stuff.
I noticed Welcome to Jungle and those Hell's Bell and those Journey. Maybe there's some Harrison Bailey theme song they can play next week on third down.
I wish I was smart and intelligent enough to fire off like some song that insulted him, but I can't. Just
some Golden Child song.
Yeah, and not that I hate Harrison Bailey. It
sucks,
the
man.
Fest. The Love Fest is annoying. Tennessee Lawns for 5 says, you guys better watch Tom Brady. That's his technique. Flat-footed.
We got Tom Brady running third string, so.
William Poole for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Says, not very impressed by number 7. It may get better. It may not. Yeah, we don't know. We're going to find out. We got what'd you say, 9 days? 9 days to get ready for Pitt. We'll see what happens. JJ's Reviews back with another $5 super chat. Thank you, JJ's. You should do a show all about Harrison Bailey. Let the fan. I made a video about Harrison Bailey, and they criticized me over that too. But thank you for the super chat, JJ's Reviews. Pecan for 5. Question: do you think we could beat Memphis Tigers or Middle Tennessee? Yes, we could beat them both. I'm trying to get caught up. I wish you guys could see the screen I'm looking at. It's complete chaos. Donovan for 20. Thank you for the super chat. It says, don't y'all know Vanderbilt game last year and this year's spring game against walk-ons, Bailey leading the Heisman race. Thank you for the super chat, Donovan. It's becoming a bidding war to make fun of Harrison Bailey or Joe Milton. Let me run through all these super chats, and we'll get back on track. Jacob for 5, thank you for the super chat. I think you can believe that Milton gives us the best chance to win, but also think that Bailey has more upside. I'm for who helps us win now. I don't know that Bailey has more upside. I think Joe Milton has more upside with his physical attributes. William Poole for 2. 7 did hit some good throws. There were some bad drops.
Yeah.
And are we caught up? Yes, we are caught up. Go ahead, Indy Kid.
Man, I hope we don't deal with this every week. Because I guess sometimes you got to ignore the chat on the comments, even though it's fun to interact. But, man, it's what we've said it from the get-go. We're for who gives the best chance. We're for whoever plays court. If they put Bailey in, so be it. That's fine. If they put Hooker in, if they put whomever.
But I mean, did anything that happened tonight really change your guys? Did it change your opinion of what this team can do? Like, after this game, I saw some good things. I saw some things that raised some concerns. I still think this team is a 6-win football team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fair assessment. Offensively, they did some good things. They've got some things to work on. Defensively, the same. We saw them fly into the ball tonight. We saw the second quarter where they got whipped. They got lost in coverages. The middle of the field, I think it was exposed again a little bit, especially in the second quarter. You had some slants, some wheel routes, some crossing patterns, and that talked about Banks earlier. Talked about him being better than he was last year. I think a little bit of that from last year showed up in that second quarter, though, as you had some guys getting free in the middle. So there has to be improvement between, right now and next Saturday before we tee it up against Pitt.
I think one thing we talked about too, though, is it's not necessarily where you start, it's where you finish. They keep making improvements. So be it, man. I mean, 38-6 tonight, and then if you build upon that, there's nothing that says tonight was the ceiling. They can easily build upon it. There's a lot of fixable things tonight. And again, I wasn't I can't just say that I thought they looked great tonight by any means, but still, yeah, they won 38-6. They adjusted. They went to their bread and butter the second half, and that running game looked really good. And you still got to mix that passing in. And I can't overstate it. I still think Milton getting that touchdown, the last play that he had on the field tonight, could be a big confidence booster, because you got to think the guy's confidence was probably down a little bit. He was indecisive. And then a few times where or a couple times he made good throws across the middle. They hit the ground. I mean, so it wasn't all his fault. By any means, he didn't look great, but he could look better, but he could have looked worse too. And he could have gotten a little more help also.
Hey, he's also going to look at the tape tomorrow and see the 3 or 4 plays where he had guys wide open or he overthrew Tillman. And then he's going to get with Hyatt and the other guys that had drops and say, hey, let's work on this. Let's get better, because we can't have these issues against Florida, against Georgia, against Ole Miss. Those are the games, those are the teams that you can't do the things that happened tonight against Bowling Green.
Trevor for 5, thank you for the super chat, says, in defense of Joe, he got out of rhythm a couple of times because of dropped balls. If Hyatt catches a few of those, could have been different. That's a good point. And then also I feel like he lost his rhythm in that second quarter. When you ran 7 offensive plays that entire second quarter, is your house collapsing, Indy kid? So he started off 9 of 11. He started off pretty good. He looked, made some good throws, and then I feel like he kind of got cold. 7 offensive plays in the second quarter. Then halftime, they came out, ran the ball heavy. It is what it is. But it goes back to what we've been saying. That Pitt game is where we're going to find out what this team's made of.
Like I say, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. Rome wasn't built in a day. There's room to improve next week. If he doesn't, if Pitt blows him out and he looks like he did tonight, we've got a talking point. Let's give it a little more time, though. I'm not defending how he looked tonight, but he did do some decent things. I think everything's focused on everything he did wrong, but no,
we'll
see where it goes.
Here's the thing, though. I think you have to defend him because he's the guy that played. The end result is the team won the game.
Yep.
That's what they went out there to do, and they did it. Period.
Yeah, he didn't kill him. I mean, he wasn't totally accurate. I mean, his first quarter was excellent. And then after that, he got out of rhythm. But
could he have been better? Yes. What quarterback goes out and plays a perfect game every time they play?
Could have been better. Could have been a whole lot worse.
Exactly.
I mean, that 38-6 could have been a whole lot closer because he put Bowling Green in positions to have easy scores. He didn't do that.
Tennessee sacrifice for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I like the running game and the backs effort. And, I agree. I thought the running backs looked great. It's the same thing as saying that Milton didn't play good to say that the running backs look great. I want to see how they look next week. First of all, I want to see what Pitt looks like. And yes, they're playing UMass, but I still want to see what Pitt looks like on Saturday. And then I want to see what Tennessee looks like next week. Tennessee's got 3 games to figure this thing out. 3 games before Florida. We talk about playing in the SEC. Gavin Blackwell for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Pet peeve, Milton doing Newton Superman thing. I know Cam is his hero, but I've never liked it. 10 other guys responsible for that TD. Just me. That said, it's too early to pull 7. No picks. He did have the fumble. Trying to make a play.
I mean, he can do better. No doubt.
William Poole for 2. Can't have multiple 3 and outs. D was tired after the first quarter.
Tennessee didn't have any 3 and outs in the first quarter, though.
Yeah, no, they scored on their first 2 drives. Yeah, third drive.
Or maybe at the end. Maybe at the end of the first quarter.
The 4th drive of the game, they had a 3 and out. That's when you had a drop by Jalen Hyatt on first down. Evans went for no gain. Milton scrambled for 5 yards, and then they punted. That was the 4th drive of the game.
That was in the second quarter too, though, right?
Probably. Yeah. I'm trying to look to see how many 3 and outs they even had. They had a couple of 3 and outs in the second quarter.
They went for it on 4th down 3 times. I think they were 1 of 3 on 4th down.
I have to say, I question one. I think I would have ran Evans opposed to Small. I think Evans. I mean, both guys went over 100 tonight. But I think, man, I like Evans. I think he's a hard guy to bring down. I think he's going to get you that extra yardage. Not that Small won't, but I like what Evans. I really liked how he looked. Both of them. But
yeah, they just complement each other. That's a good problem to have. You know, we talked about earlier, Tyon Evans should start. Jabari Small should start. I don't think it matters at the end of the day. Pecan for 5 says, what's the issue? I'm not a Harrison Bailey fan at all, but Milton is not a new young buck. He's not some rookie, but y'all treat him like one. I don't get it. I don't think anybody's treating him like a rookie. I think we're just saying that he's the starting quarterback. It is what it is. It doesn't really make any sense to sit here and cry about Harrison Bailey. I think that's the point.
Let's just see how it plays out. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're switching quarterbacks here before too long. Who knows? But like you said, Dauber, 38-6. They got it done. They won. Wasn't perfect. Wasn't horrible. It was 38-6 win. We'll see how it goes from here. Next week's going to tell the tale.
Matthew Williams, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Go ahead and drop those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis into the chat. Evan Counts for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I feel like Heupel will have this team polished up by next week with a game finally under their belt. I hope so. I mean, it's not like we're on here saying that Josh Heupel coached a perfect game and Joe Milton played a perfect game. They got the win. They took care of business. We'll see what happens next week. Like Indy Kid just said, let's just let it play out and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't just thrilled with how they won handily, and they did not play nowhere near their best game tonight. And we can keep saying it's Bowling Green, what have you. 38-6. Didn't play great. They went pretty much strictly run the second half. And, you know, it was 14-6 at the half. And then they went 38-6. By my calculations, and maybe I'm wrong on this, they shut Bowling Green out 24-0 in the second half. Not a bad end of the game, no matter how you want to spin it.
Elijah Allen for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, we held a team to less than 10 yards rushing, regardless of it being Bowling Green or not. That's still an accomplishment. That's, you know, something we talk about all the time. When's the last time Tennessee went out and just took care of business, right? I mean, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't necessarily pretty at all times. JJ's reviews for 3. Thank you for the super chat. Says, fans caught a case of HB Mississippi Leghound.
We have somebody made comment here. We friggin' won. We used to struggle in these games. How many times has Tennessee barely pulled these games out against similar competition? This game was never in doubt tonight.
David Emerson for 5 says special teams were okay. Kicker looked good on one attempt. Yeah, he nailed it through. Philip Bowman for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Says the cover was 35 and we got 32, so slightly below expectations, but happy with where we're at. And I feel like we didn't show everything. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think a little vanilla, especially like I said earlier on defense. I don't think they really dialed up a whole lot of blitzes. Tennessee Lawns for 2 says these fans act like we beat them 17-14 in overtime. Do you guys think that it's just the status of this fan base, the battered Vols syndrome? Do you think we're just a miserable fan base, or do you think it's maybe just, I don't know, the vocal minority?
Bit of both. I mean, you know, you've got your loud vocal minority, like you said, but I mean, how many times have you said or heard said Tennessee's going to Tennessee, or you know that, oh, how are we going to lose this game because of all the things that have happened? But I mean, we as fans, we don't like it. We don't like to see, and the players don't like it. I'm looking at a tweet right now from Jalen Hyatt just after the game, 40 minutes ago. It says, "I'll tighten up next game. Just trust 100%." So he's not happy with how he played tonight. He knows he could have been better. He knows that he had some balls that he should have caught. And I think these guys are going to make their adjustments. They're going to get after it starting in the film room tomorrow, practice this week, and they're going to come out and be better when we take the field Saturday against Pitt.
Donovan for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Donovan says Theo Jackson, Tyon Evans were your 2 best players tonight. Tennessee Sacrifice, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. JJ's Reviews also becomes a member of the channel. Guys, we appreciate it. Go ahead and throw those custom Talkin Vols emojis into the chat. Indie Kid, who's your top guy? Who's your player of the game on offense and then also on defense?
Hard to really argue with that. I think Evans – Small played good. I liked Evans a little more tonight than I did Small. And that's nothing against what Small did by any means. Really impressed with Evans. Theo Jackson played well, man. He played good. I think it's either Theo Jackson or Jeremy Banks. And I probably got to go with Theo Jackson a little bit above Banks. I would also maybe throw Tyler Barron. And I said a lot of people's talking about Byron Young, who was evidently there's some eligibility questions with him, but kind of thought people were sleeping on Barron. He had some good moments tonight as well. But Evans, yeah, I agree. Evans and Jackson. I think that's my 2 players of the game.
I thought Elijah Simmons looked good early. He was getting some penetration early, and that's kind of when Bowling Green changed up their game plan a little bit. What about you, Dauber? Who's your player of the game on offense, defense? Same, or you got something different?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that. You know, despite the drops, Hyatt had 4 catches for 62, averaged 15 yards. Tillman 2 for 48, 24 yards. You know,
and Tillman could have had a whole lot more.
Oh, man, he could have had a huge day.
He was open. Yeah.
And I think that's the things that Heupel and the rest of this staff will go back and look at the film, and they're going to work with Milton. They're going to say, listen, man, when you drop back, you need to be looking here. The coverage is here. If this is the play that's called, we're looking here. You've got an outlet, and because there were times when you had a tight end or a wide receiver, not just kind of open, wide open. So you're going to see improvement. I think this staff, and I've said it from early on, this staff is completely different. Their coaches, their teachers, that they are about coaching. And I think that we've not seen that type of staff. We've had some good coaches, but I think that they weren't getting it done on the practice field. They weren't getting it done in the film room. And they did a disservice to the kids that were there. And I'll step up and I'll say, even a former quarterback who is now on the West Coast playing was done a disservice by the coaching staff, by the quarterback's coach, by the play calling. Everybody failed him.
Good comment. You highlighted one. I'm going to highlight one here I like. No win situation. 24-33, 42 touchdowns. It would have been just Bowling Green.
Yeah.
There's a part of me is glad that obviously they took care of business 38-6, but there's a real part of me is glad, not that I want them to do bad or anything, but I'm glad it wasn't a perfect game or one of those where you can't really pinpoint the flaws. Because, if you come out and execute perfectly, what do you have to work on? You're going to work on something from week to week, but still yet, there's a lot they can pinpoint. They can go back and review film. Like you said, Dauber, they can say, hey, here's this throw. Guys breaking, quicker decisions, drop. There's a lot they can work on tonight.
Well, and here's this. If that coaching staff is as good as I hope and think that they are, they're going to say, listen, Joe, you got to get better. Or there's two guys behind you that want to play. That's what pushes guys to get better.
William Poole for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Says when Joe hits his stride, he can hurt an SEC defense. Matt Begley, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Dustin Sellers for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says fans weren't this negative back in the good old days. We all know the pain. The difference now is the couch coaches have a voice online. DMess02, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. We appreciate it. Ryan Hoskins throws $2 at us, just a tip in the jar. Thank you for that. Ryan Drew for 5 says, unless Heupel intentionally kept it vanilla, I'm not confident at all when we face Pitt. It was a clean game, which is just not good enough. William Poole for 2 says, what would JP say? I have no idea. You can call him at home. I don't know what he would say. The thing is getting ready for that Pitt game. It's like I said earlier, I kind of feel indifferent. I kind of feel the same way I did going into this game. I feel like we still have the same question marks. But to the point that was made earlier in the chat that you pulled up, it was a no-win situation. If they had put up 60 points on Bowling Green, we would all still be sitting here saying, well, we just don't know. And I saw somebody say, why are we always looking ahead to Florida? Well, because Florida is in the SEC. It's the first SEC game of the year. That's why I'm looking ahead to Florida, because Tennessee has got to take care of business against Pitt, and then it gets real against Florida. But I feel like there's still the same questions now as we had going into the season.
If Tennessee wins 3-2 against Pitt next week, that's a positive. All it matters is a win next week. We'll see.
I would imagine that line will be pretty close. I would imagine.
Yeah, the last I had seen on Tennessee was favored.
I would say it's because it's home field advantage. I could see him favored by maybe 3, something like that, something close.
Yeah, but I think it'll be closer to a push next week. A game like that, I'm not looking ahead to Florida. I'm looking ahead to Pitt. I've had that one circled for a long time. I still think it's must win. I think it sets a good tone. If they come in and beat Pitt next week, no matter what it is, that's going to change a lot of the tone after tonight. There's a lot of negativity after tonight. We know why. It's been the case a lot of the time. I think that'll change some tone. And, you might as well face it. JM is going to be the quarterback next week. Okay? And that's not going to change unless there's an injury. So you can bitch and gripe and moan till your heart's desire. It's not going to change.
Hunter Newman drops a $2 tip. Thank you, Hunter. We appreciate that. It's late. I'm tired. I've been up since about 5 o'clock this morning. I think we're going to wrap this show up. I appreciate everybody that hung out with us for this late night edition of Talkin Vols. I know it's a work night, late game. It's tough. So whether you agree with us, disagree with us, I'm glad you guys hang out with us. Papa T in SC for 5 says, stop panicking. It's game 1. Papa T, did you have too much to drink down there in Neyland? I know you were down there hanging out. Defense played well. D-line was imposing. Run game was on point. Joe and receivers need work, but a win is a win. That's right. 1-0, baby. Moving on to the next. Nate Pruitt for 5. It's easy for us fans to coach from the couch. Joe is Tennessee's best choice right now. No. HB Lake. Hounding here. Trust the process. Go Big Orange. Great job. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. Again, we appreciate all the support. If you haven't done so yet, do us a favor. You can be mad at me for yelling. You can be mad at Indy Kid for talking about Joe Milton or Harrison Bailey. You can be mad at Dauber because, I don't know, because he has glasses on. People criticize the shirt I wear. Hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down. I don't care which one you hit. Just hit something. Let us know what you think. Hit the comment section. We'll let you guys know who won the free T-shirts. Probably let you know on the Tuesday night show. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. He's Dauber. He's the Indy Kid. My name is Boogie Bentley. The only thing I have left to say is go Big Horn.